Hello everyone, this is Scarzig, and welcome back to another episode of Duelyst. We're here today, as promised, with no Divine Bond, Healynar. Now, without Divine Bond, Lyonar has to jump through a lot more hoops in order to close out games, but it's, I've been having a lot of fun playing it. I've learned a lot about, the current metagame and how Lyonar fits into it, and without the Divine Bond, like, sort of X factor to help you close out games in burst, you have to definitely do a lot of finagling to get your wins. You could probably even get by you playing Argeon high main and using Roar to get value instead of running Afterglow. But right now, like I said, I just want to play some Healynar, get a feel for it. I really like Sunriser. I've been appreciating it a lot lately, but enough rambling. Let's get right to the deck. We've got 3 Aegis Barrier here. When you cast this on a minion, you draw a card, and the targeted minion cannot be targeted by enemy spells. So this is really good for having our big units stick. Also gives us a little bit of card draw, which this deck needs. We've got 2 Blood Tier Alchemists for utility. The 1 damage ping is nice. Also, Blood Tier Alchemist gives us a 1 mana target for Holy Immolation. So that way you can do the play a unit Holy Immolation combo at 5 mana instead of 6, and sometimes your opponent won't be expecting it, so that's kind of nice. I've got a Azure Horn Shaman here, and this is a pretty weird slot, a pretty weird reason as well. I have 3 Healing Mystic and 3 Windblade Adept, right? So I have 6 2-drops, and I wanted a little bit more. You want like 7 or 9 2-drops around there, so that you have a higher chance of getting one in your opening hand. And I figured that out of all the 2-drops, Azure Horn Shaman kind of offers a little bit of everything what this deck needs. It gives you something you can play on your first turn if need be. You can also combo this with Martyrdom, say, to proc a heal and give your minions more HP so that it's easier for them to survive, and you can use Afterglow on them. If you don't like Azure Horn Shaman, you can easily swap this out for maybe a Primus Fist, a Rust Crawler, although having Rust Crawler as a 1-of is kind of inconsistent for what you need it for. Maybe throw in an Ephemeral Shroud would be kind of nice. But like I said, I just have the Azure Horn Shaman in here for spice, and it is a magnet for removal. Because your opponent needs to make sure this dies first so it doesn't proc on your units, it has like a pseudo-provoke, which is kind of nice. We've got 2 Sunblooms in this deck. If I tried really hard, I could probably make room for a 3rd one. But as it stands right now, you just need to be very judicious about what you're going to use your Sunbloom on, and probably don't worry too much about hitting 2 or 3 things with it. Just use it as a 2-mana dispel for whatever like huge threats or out of reach targets that you can't get at. We've got 3 Tempest in this deck. It's really nice if we have a slow start and our opponent's starting to swarm us. Takes out, Wraithlings, Heart Seekers, any like small threats that we can't reach. And it also gives us a way to injure our own units so that we can heal them right back. You can play a unit, Tempest, Afterglow, and in that way you're doing AoE damage, proccing your Sunriser, so that's a pretty decent way to do that, because most of the time when you want to do those combos, you might not have something on the board waiting to attack, and so using the Tempest gives you a heal target. So we've got 3 Martyrdom here as well. This is our removal spell. I gotta say, this really stinks when you have to like Martyrdom like 3 really huge units on the enemy side, and it basically heals them back to full. But this is one of Lyonar's only ways to deal with really large units instead of placing threats of their own for their opponent to deal with. And again, the heal does help out every once in a while. You can also use this on your own units, of course, to heal yourself, which you aren't going to be doing too often, but sometimes that extra Sunriser proc will help you out. We've got 3 Silverguard Knights, 2 Sojourners for card draw. The high HP allows this to survive, and then you can heal it, which is nice. We've got 2 Arclight Regalia, 3 Holy Immolation, because these things are awesome, and it's also a heal. We've got 2 Sunrisers here, and with all of the Sunriser talk I've just been talking about, and all the heals that are included in this deck, you'd think you'd want to run 3 Sunriser. You'd want to have that on hand as much as possible to combo with. But the thing about Sunriser is you're going to be holding it for a combo piece anyway. Very rarely are you going to develop this just by itself because it's too risky to have it out and just have it die before you can proc its effect. So you want to drop it down and then combo with it immediately. At least try to get one proc off of it. And so to that end, you want to have other options available in your 4-drop slot. That's why I have 3 Suntide Maiden, and with Arclight Regalia and Holy Immolation, Lyonar has a lot of 4-mana cards that are always fighting each other for space. It's really hard here to even make room for Sworn Sister, which is an excellent card, but with 4-mana slot being so bloated in this deck, it's like really hard to justify it, even though the card draw will help you out in a pinch. If you really wanted to, you could probably cut the Azure Horn Shaman and include Sworn Sister. So we've got 3 Ironcliffe Guardian and then an Elk Stormblade to finish things off. Just a little bit of late game damage. The extra movement sometimes helps if you need to spread your guys out to get around Shadow Creep and things like that. So it's just there as just something to top off our curve. And if you feel that you're getting a lot of mid-range wins, or you're playing more of a mid-range style, you could probably cut the Elk Stormblade and include another card of your choice. Maybe even that 3rd Sunbloom I was talking about. Alright. So Abyssian is, especially Cassava, is what you're going to be seeing a lot of on the ladder. And this can be hit or miss for sure for this deck. I kind of want to keep the Healing Mystic just so I have something to play. We'll pass on the Suntide Maiden, even though we'll be able to play it next turn. I want to increase my chances of maybe getting a Silverguard Knight to go second with. Or Sojourner is nice. Just get that developed right away. Okay. That's a Jaxi. You don't really see that a lot lately because of Cassava's Bloodborne spell. You're just feeding it by running Jaxi, but against matchups where your opponent's going to have a hard time dealing with that mini Jax, like Lyonar or Magmar, then the Jaxi does come in handy. So right here, having the Blood Tier Alchemist is nice. I'm just going to wait to take out the mini Jax with that. I think what we can do is maybe just develop the Healing Mystic and Azure Horn Shaman. And we'll play him, you know, forward so that he can take the brunt of the attacks. We don't want to play the Healing Mystic here because Jaxi can come down and attack it, and then the General would be able to move forward and take out the Healing Mystic. So we don't want it to die for free, so we're going to play it slightly out of the way over here. And he's only got 3 damage showing to play against the Azure Horn Shaman. And it discourages him from closing the gap because he doesn't want that to proc on the Healing Mystic. Because having a 2/7 out basically gives me something that's going to be constantly poking him and something that I can constantly heal. Now, Shadow Sister Kaleno is pretty interesting here. Played all the way in the back, that is out of my reach. So I think what we're going to do here is just move down, develop the Suntide Maiden. We'll have the Azure Horn Shaman hit the Jaxi. And we're moving the Healing Mystic up here so that it's in range of the Azure Horn Shaman. And then we'll develop the Blood Tier Alchemist. Now we're going to put the Blood Tier here so that he can't kill it for free. We're also going to leave the Healing Mystic up, I think. He's going to have his Bloodborne spell next turn, so that's going to force him to make that trade. And there's no need for me to hit him now because he's got the Shadow Sister Kaleno up. So I think that that'll be our turn. Typically versus Cassava, you want to try to play your deck a bit faster. You want to finish her off before she starts playing Shadow Novas. But this deck has a really hard time shifting gears to a more aggressive style unless you draw very, very well. So right now, I'm just trying to slowly work out some utility for this squad that I have developed while closing the gap on this Shadow Sister. I'm going to be searching for a Martyrdom or a Sunbloom for sure. This coming up turn, I'm probably just going to develop the Sojourner, start getting some card draw going. Although the Silverguard Knight would be pretty interesting. Ephemeral Shroud. Onto the Suntide Maiden. Okay, so he's not going to do anything about the Azure Horn Shaman. So let's see. I can move back here. Kill this. Move the Azure Horn Shaman down so that it's next to the Suntide Maiden. I could probably still get that to proc if I tried hard enough. Do I want to develop the Sojourner still? Yeah, I think I will. And we'll heal. Since we have the extra mana, we'll keep this topped off. And I'm just trying to find something to proc the Azure Horn Shaman against. That's fine. I'm still going to draw a card off of that Sojourner, so it's not so bad. The problem is I'm just not getting any of my threats to deal with his setup right now. So that's really unfortunate. Holy Immolation would be kind of good. So that's it's definitely what we're looking for. We're going to throw back the Aegis Barrier. Holy Immolation. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, so we definitely want to move up, hit the Kaleno. And then we're going to Holy Immolation. Do I want a Tempest right now? Yeah, let's Tempest. That puts the Azure Horn Shaman at 2. So that it'll be easier for me to proc it next turn. And then it takes out the Dancing Blades. Denies that damage. Also allows us to use all of our mana efficiently, and since I have the second Tempest in my hand, I don't feel so bad about using it. So. Another Shadow Sister. It's probably going to Demonic Lure, and then hit it with the Abyssal Scar, just to get this out of the way. And that's what I'm talking about, where it would have additional utility. Oh yeah, smarter would be Demonic Lure on that, of course. And then attack the Azure Horn Shaman. Okay. He actually lasted a really long time. It's just a shame I wasn't able to proc it at all. So we are going to do this. And since Shadow Sister only procs when you get damaged, the Arclight Regalia prevents that from doing anything to us. And do I want to keep the Tempest? Yeah, I'll keep the Tempest, because if he's able to just kill the Silverguard Knight, I might be able to close the gap on the Shadow Sister and hit it with the Arclight Regalia, and the Tempest will allow me to get that extra damage in. Yep, so that's going to be his turn. Alright. Okay, cool, so I don't need to Tempest, because I can Afterglow. and then the Sunriser proc will finish this guy off. Or do I want a Tempest here and have the Sunriser proc hit? No. We'll get this developed and do it now. The question is, now in this situation, do I want to hold the Tempest? No. Okay. That looks a bit better. Developing an extra body on the board. Spectral Revenant, probably. And then just take out the Sunriser. That's one of the things I was talking about, where you at least want to combo it to get that proc off. Oops. I wonder what he misplayed. Oh, he probably should have played that before he moved. You know, just depending on whatever options he got. It's going to be kind of hard for me to close the gap because these shadow creeps are placed very well. Sunbloom would be kind of nice, but developing the second Sunriser might be good. Spectral Blade. I'm going to switch out the Sunriser and see if I can get my hands on Elix Stormblade, because the extra movement is going to allow me to keep this guy surrounded. See, now I have an Afterglow target here in the Suntide Maiden. So I can, see, I can hit, heal, hit. See, and I can't take that damage. So, yeah, that's, we'll just keep on trucking, I guess. You over, we'll move you. We'll just keep our units as spread out as we can. Because he did play right of the Undervault, so we got to watch out for pretty much the full range of options. One of the reasons I really don't like Cassava. Well, it's not really Cassava. It's just this whole setup in general with like the Shadow Sisters. Like, as you can see, this whole time I've just been trying to deal with the Shadow Sisters because she's been healing so much off of them. Nothing like extremely threatening has come out from her yet. She's just buying time, buying time. Tempest doesn't really do it for me. Sunbloom, haha. Now, see, you'd want a Sunbloom and just get rid of the Shadow Creep Tile, right? Keep that cut down. But because of what we're working with here, we're going to Sunbloom the Shadow Sister. And putting the Suntide Maiden at 6 isn't really going to be an issue. I can Afterglow anyway because at 9 mana you get your Bloodborne spell every turn. It's just that this being at 5 or 6 is not really relevant because he can just hit it for free with the Spectral Blade and the Shadow Sister to kill it. And this is what I was talking about, where the Sworn Sister comes in handy in situations like this, where like you're top decking. It's just that I've had games where I've had too much card draw. If your opponent is running Spelljammers and stuff like that, I've had games where my Sojourners survived like tons and tons of turns, and it's just like drawing me too many cards. So I haven't really had any good in between. All right, cool. These Shadow Creeps are really annoying. the Shadow Sisters have kept him pretty much at full HP this whole time. And because of Rite of the Undervault, his cards are he's just going to start outvaluing me. But we're just slowly closing the gap, developing a board where we can. I think I might hold the Ironcliff Guardian and try to get an Aegis Barrier to go along with it. Oh, that's harsh. So he gets to take my Arclight Regalia. Crazy late game threats and the crazy healing to get there. You have to be playing an extremely aggressive deck in order to take out Cassiopeia before she's able to get rolling like this. Sunriser proc would clear this out for me. But then Spectral Revenant just comes down and does things. So it's not like it's relevant. And I'd have to injure the Sunriser, so I'm just like taking out one and then proccing the other. So I guess we'll just do this. But yeah, this deck really needs card draw, but it's so hard to fit it in. Spelljammer might be the answer. I hate, like, making my opponent draw cards. Especially if you're up against an aggressive deck, the Spelljammer is just going to help them a lot more than it does anything for you, in my opinion. Because even if I have a bunch of cards, I'm still forced to play everything on curve. So you got another Spectral Revenant. Oh, Shadow Nova. Wah, wah. And it would be one thing if you could wear Cassiopeia down, but the Rite of the Undervault is like... bit too much value. But yeah, that whole... I was not able to deal with those Shadow Sisters. So Kaleno, in my opinion, is definitely an issue. And I don't know if it's a bug, but Kaleno's heal does not proc Sunriser, which is a pretty interesting interaction. Now I want to try to get a 2-drop here. We're going to throw the Sunriser, because like I said, you want to save it for late combos anyway. So we've got Ironclave Aegis Barrier combo, which is kind of nice versus Magmar, because their typical removal is Egg-Morph or Natural Selection. I've run into a couple Magmar players that are still running Plasma Storm, which is just the huge Lyonar counter. 3 attack is basically their baseline for a lot of their early mid-game units. So I think what I'm going to do is chuck back the Tempest and look for a 2-drop, because I want to hold on to the Martyrdom. This lets us take out Earth Sister. Just, you know, because he's going to ramp and play it on 4 mana or whatever, then he's probably not going to have taken that much damage, so it's better to just Martyrdom, get that thing out of play. As soon as he figures out what he wants to keep. The other thing too is if I move forward, play a 2-drop, there's a chance he can just move forward, play a 2-drop in a Natural Selection, and then at the very least I'll be able to go into Sojourner afterwards. Nice. I keep forgetting to open up the battle log. I resized my screen and everything so that I can include this, because I think it's kind of nice, but sorry for not having that open. Ooh, fancy card back. Yep, see, that's the play. Young Silithar, Natural Selection. Now, if I go into Sojourner, then he can just Natural Selection that too. Windblade Adept would be good for me here. I could just martyrdom this thing and then kill the egg. And you know, what does that net me? That feels like a really bad play. I think throwing the Tempest is correct. I could actually go Sojourner into Aegis Barrier so that he can't target it with natural selection, and that kind of makes my play a bit safer. So I think we're going to have to go that route. And cool, yeah. That's what we'll go with. I'm holding the Tempest for utility, because sometimes you just need an extra proc of damage to take out an egg or something. The 2 damage comes in handy to finish off a Mechantor War Beast. Repulsor Beast. You can... It's kind of interesting how you can tell what your opponent's about to play based on the cursor movements. Is he going to attack, though? Okay. Do I want to Tempest this? That feels kind of bad, too. Blood to your Alchemist would be beautiful here. Aha! Okay, now we're cooking. Sucks because I can't go Suntide Maiden into Blood to your Alchemist and still get the proc that I need. But I think just for the sake... He's only going up to 5 mana. So I guess just for the sake of playing on curve, we'll just turn that into an egg. And I want to keep my HP up. Magmar is generally very aggressive. They have a lot of combination, control, and aggressive options with Mechantor War Beast and Earth Sister and Diretide Frenzy and stuff. It's a lot of things that do damage while also controlling your board. So we'll see what he does at 5 mana. And I mean, you can't always play around like Flash War Beast and stuff, but we'll see how it goes. That's cool. Egg-morph. Him using that, you know, gives our other units a higher chance of sticking. So, Holy Immolation. Tempest. Well... Let's draw a card first, I guess. Suntide Maiden. Do I want to gamble on him having the, another Egg-morph or something? No, I think we'll just go that route. And we'll have the Blood to your Alchemist kind of just waiting off in the wings, so we can use that 2 damage to trade into something, or maybe attack the Young Silithar egg. And he did replace, so I don't think he has the Egg-morph. Another Repulsor Beast. Okay, that's fine. Because he sent it into this corner, which is like where all of my units are right now. So I can kind of just fall back towards the Ironcliffe Guardian. Sojourner draws me another card. That's beautiful. Okay. We'll play the Aegis Barrier on this guy. Keep him safe. Another Martyrdom, which I don't need, so we'll replace. Another Holy Immolation, which he isn't really in a good spot for right now. Question. Do we want to go Suntide Maiden or Silverguard Knight? I suppose it's just a matter of if I want an additional provoke, and I think the answer is yes. I want to keep him near me so that I can close the distance with this Ironcliff Guardian. I don't have Divine Bond, but he doesn't know that, maybe. But yeah, there's a Mechanitor Warbeast. The Silverguard Knight still survives. But it forces him to play that out. Yeah, so I think I'm going to move up with the Ironcliff Guardian and then Holy Immolation to clear this. Back off with my General. Oh my goodness, taking so much damage. And I think I'm going to do Suntide Maiden Martyrdom, actually. That would be pretty interesting. Just so that I can have some HP to work with. Yeah, so we'll take that 4 damage. And then we're gonna heal. Next turn, I'll be able to play Holy Immolation or Afterglow or something on the Ironcliff to keep it healthy. But I think right now it can survive with just 6 HP. And I wanted to take out the Mechanitor Warbeast on my turn, of course, so he doesn't have a chance to buff it. I wonder if he's got another Repulsor Beast. Silhouette Tracer into Adamantite Claws. Nope, just a big hit. Sworn Sister. Thinking about how I want to play this, because I can like hold the Immolation, this little section, and try to keep his General off of me. Because the way he's got me surrounded right now, I'm still in range of Mechanitor Warbeast. Alright. Got the heal off. I mean, if he's had a second Silhouette Tracer, then I'm done. Mecantor Greater Fortitude also helps. Another Silhouette Tracer. Well played. Yeah, so Magmar has a bit too much damage. Like, as we saw, he didn't even play Earth Sister. That was just me not really being able to develop enough threat onto him. Where this deck aims to sort of wear down the opponent by playing additional threats back to back to back, clearing the opponent's board with Holy Immolation and Sunriser procs. Decks like Magmar are just going to just stomp you down before you get going, or decks like Cassifar are just going to outlast you because their late game is much stronger. So I need to find a better middle ground, I think, with this deck type. And Healynar is getting some extra support come the Shimzar expansion, so that should be fun. So going first, Silverguard Knight, going second rather, Silverguard Knight is beautiful for us. And playing Silverguard Knight and then slapping an Aegis Barrier on it is kind of good turn 2 play because you're using your mana efficiently. It's just that versus Vanar, they're just going to Chromatic Cold this thing anyway, so you're losing out on that value because Chromatic Cold affects the tile and not the... Do I want to keep the Sunriser? Since I have my turn 1 play, I guess that I might as well hold on to it. I'm not looking for any additional utility. Ooh, it's a mech deck. And fortunately for us, even though Wings of Mechazor is normally a pretty annoying play to cut off that mana, having a Silverguard Knight is a beautiful play for us. And he'll be able to trade into it, just put everything down, but it'll clear his board, and he'll take 3 damage. Versus Mechazor, you want to speed up your game plan as well. This deck doesn't have Crossbones in it, of course, which might be a good tech card. But we'll see how this shakes out. And we're going to attack the Wings of Mechazor so that it dies when it attacks the Silverguard Knight. I don't mind taking that 1 damage. And so now we have our Ironcliff Aegis Barrier combo. Again, with the presence of Chromatic Cold, it's not really going to matter too much. But it cuts off aspect of the Fox as an option, so it at least increases the chances that the unit will stick around. And if he does use Chromatic Cold on it, that just means he was going to do it anyway. So we're still left with the 3/8, and we draw a card off the Aegis Barrier, so it's not all bad. But Silverguard Knight being dispelled is a lot worse, because it just becomes like a 1/3 when it gets hit with the Chromatic Cold. We gotta play around Warbird, so we're gonna be playing the Suntide Maiden here. Yeah, that's it's good for us, I guess. But yeah, the Fade deck normally I think you'd be able to outlast their aggression. It's just that the Mechazor basically forces you to play their game. Wow, yeah, so this is a very aggressive. I'm taking a lot of damage here. So I don't think the Aegis Barrier Ironcliff Guardian is very good, but fortunately for us, we can get a Sunriser proc going right in here. So that is what we're going to do now. We don't need the Sojourner. Oh, cool, Healing Mystic. That works beautifully for us. And we're going to play the Aegis Barrier on this guy. make it a bit harder to remove. Ending my turn makes the Sun-Tide Maiden heal itself back up, and then we get the proc. So if Sun-Tide Maiden sticks around, you can start to get value to combo with the Sunriser. It's just very rarely that you're going to be able to get that to work. That was a misplay on his part. He should have Hearth Sistered the Sunriser here, so you can hit all three. But he has retreated over back onto his side, so at least he might not be able to Mechazor Spirit. Actually, no, Mechazor you get to summon anywhere, so never mind what I said. Healing Mystic's really good here, because we can get the extra Sunriser proc. Holy Immolation's also good because we get a Sunriser proc. So we're going to attack him. And we're going to attack you. And then we're going to Holy Immolation. Does damage. Gets the proc. And then we Healing Mystic. Gets the proc. And then, oh my god, I missed lethal. If I would have moved my general over here, the extra proc would have killed him. God damn. So hopefully with 2 cards in hand, he can't kill us. I've got Tempest. So yeah. This deck works out if you can get a board advantage. And then because the Sunriser like gets you so much value that it's really hard for your opponent to keep up with it. This game really worked out for us, honestly. Oh man. So you can kind of see what the deck wants to do there. And hopefully with the additional support for Healynar coming up in the Shimsar expansion, we'll be able to see a little bit more of that. I'm also looking forward to playing this deck, maybe while climbing through like Silver Gold, because right now being in Diamond, you're running into a lot of crazy efficient decks that just completely just wreck you. But thank you for stopping by. Look forward to some more Healynar. And I'm also going to be working on this kind of cheeky deck, where you trick your opponent into coming onto your side of the field and then recycling avalanches at them to keep them perma-stun locked. But that's my meme deck that I've got working on the side, so look forward to that. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.